Tonight, I have a story for you. It's a true one. It's about a little girl who lived in a small apartment right above her family's grocery store. A girl who, believe it or not, would grow up to lead an entire country. And her story starts in that very simple place.
Okay, so picture a small town in England. On the main street, there's a little grocery shop, and right upstairs, in an apartment, lived a girl named Margaret. Every day, she could look out her window and watch her dad down below, weighing sugar, measuring flour, and always speaking so kindly to his customers. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? A girl whose whole world was the smell of fresh bread and the jingle of the shop's bell. Could she really grow up to lead a country? Well, let's find out.
So we have to start at the beginning, with Margaret, the grocer's daughter. Because you know what? The biggest lessons she ever learned weren't in some big fancy school. They were right there, in her family's shop. Just by watching her father every day, she learned 3 really simple but super important rules for life. Number 1, work hard. Number 2, always tell the truth. And number 3, stand by what you believe in.
As Margaret got a little older, she took those lessons with her to school. And it was there that she found something she just loved, something that made her ask a million questions. Science.
She thought chemistry was the coolest thing ever. Mixing all these colorful liquids and watching them fizz and bubble and magically change from one thing to another. But she didn't just want to watch. She wanted to understand how it all worked.
Her favorite word was why. She just kept asking it over and over. She truly believed that if you just studied something long enough and thought about it really clearly, you could solve almost any puzzle in the world. And guess what? All that hard work and all of those why questions, well, they paid off. Big time. The grocer's daughter got into one of the most famous universities in the whole world, Oxford, to study the very thing she loved, chemistry. Can you imagine that? But Margaret's journey wasn't going to end in a science lab. As she grew older, she started to look at the world around her, and she wanted to help her country. To do that, she knew she needed to find her voice, a voice that was strong and steady. Now, when she first started out, some people said things like, "Oh, politics is way too difficult." Some even said it's not a place for women. But did that stop her? No way. She just practiced. She practiced speaking clearly and calmly so that when she spoke, people would listen. You see, her strength didn't come from being the loudest person in the room. It came from being the most prepared. Before she would ever make a big decision, she would read everything she could, think about it from every angle, and just learn, learn, learn. All of that hard work and that strong, steady voice took her to the very, very top. And it also earned her a nickname that the whole world would come to know. This is the part of the story about the Iron Lady. And then it happened. Margaret Thatcher did something that no woman in her country had ever done before. She became the very first female Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. It was a huge moment in history. She was known for being very firm. When she decided on something she believed was right, she stuck with it. She was strong, and she didn't back down. And because of that, people gave her that nickname, the Iron Lady.
She once said, "You may have to fight a battle more than once to win it." All that really means is that sometimes the most important things are hard, and you can't give up just because you didn't win the first time. You have to keep going.
But here's what's so amazing. Even when she was one of the most powerful leaders in the world, meeting with other leaders and making huge decisions, she never, ever forgot where she came from. She always remembered those lessons from the little grocery shop.
She remembered watching her father carefully count every single coin. That taught her to be responsible. She remembered what it felt like to serve the customers who came into the shop, and that taught her that her job was to help people. It all came back to those simple things. So, as we get ready to sleep, let's just think about this. That amazing journey, it all began with a totally ordinary kid, a girl in a window, a curious student in a classroom, a young person who was just finding their voice. Her story kind of shows us a few things, doesn't it? It shows us that it's good to dream big, that it's important to study and learn, that you should speak kindly to others, and that you should always, always stand up for what you believe in.
Because, real courage isn't about being loud. It's about being steady and firm. And if you remember that, then, just like Margaret, you can be a leader too, in your very own special way. Good night.